Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to Felsbrunn Farm, and it is a very cloudy morning as you can see, but our crops have grown quite nicely overnight. They were fertilised, just had enough left in the tank. You can see them all leaning, look, towards the direction of the sun over there. Look at the way the crops are all sort of just craning and straining to the direction of the sun that's just over there, that way. And then these should start changing direction as the sun rises a little bit. Just had enough spray left over. I've got like 60 odd litres left in the tank. Only just managed to fertilise my fields. Of course, we do have the spreader, so we could always have switched back over to that and used pellets instead if necessary, but we had just enough. So, the first thing I want to do this morning is to sell off that remaining wood. Let's jump back in our case. Let's get those skinny wheels off. Put the big wheels back on again. So, back to Michelin's. And we want the wides. There we go. Let's go sell off the remaining wood that we've got in the trailer around the corner. Hopefully we'll get a nice little bit of cash for that. We need 22.5 grand to pay for our header, plus I do think we are going to have to get a second combine, so we may well go ahead and do that as well. Let's get connected here. There we go. And before we drive off, this box is now full, so let's take that out of the way. Stick that in the back of the trailer here. There we go. And hopefully we've got a nice little bit of cash in the back here. Those trees don't look any taller. They still look to be pretty much the same height as they were before, so I don't think we've missed out on tree height, as it were. And they do look to be pretty much the same height as the tree in the background as well, next to the tall conifer. Make our way to the sawmill. Really can't wait for that camera collision mod to turn up. That is the most anticipated mod for me at the moment. Is the ability to turn off those damn camera collisions. They are so frustrating, especially when you have a large trailer like this. Because the minute you get just a little bit too close, that happens. Oh, it's just so frustrating. It really is. And you can have it set quite perfectly, and then you go around a corner or you go up or down a hill. It changes the focus point, and your perfectly positioned camera is no longer perfectly positioned, and you find yourself staring at the back window of your tractor again. Just, yeah, so frustrating. Right. Let's just pull up the ramp. Here we go. I'm hoping for enough to pay for the header on its own here. Let's see. Oh wow, 40 grand for that trailer. That is nice. That is very nice. So we'll get this parked back up again. I do think that we need to start planting some more trees as well. That certainly was a very, very good way for us to make some money, was to harvest those trees. So I'd like to do that again. So I think we'll probably lease at some point today a tree planter and just plant a load of trees all the way along this area down here as well. We've got this long strip of land that we're not doing anything with. Makes sense for us to shove a few trees there. Plus then we can harvest them as soon as they're ready. We don't have to worry about them falling into the field, because there should be enough of a distance, especially if we cut them the right way, for them to fall across the road, which won't hold up any traffic because there isn't any, and stay away from the crop itself, so we don't risk damaging the crop trying to retrieve those logs. So let's park that just there for a second. So, engine off. Let's have a look at what we definitely need to buy. We need that. That is a definite need. So we'll buy one of those. I think, much as I'm kind of loath to do it, we do need to speed up our combining. So I'm going to take the header trailer down, sell off our New Holland header, and buy one of these power streams. They're the same price, but it's the extra meter. Same crops as well, so shouldn't be an issue in that respect. We'll load that onto the back of the trailer, bring that back up, and then we'll buy a second combine, a second New Holland. Actually, maybe... Let me check the price of the case, because we've got the modded case one now as well. So that is 100,000 with a 5,000 litre tank. See, that's got a bigger tank, but it's it's a lot more expensive. 145 grand. What's the size of the header that goes with it? The case header. See, that's only just over 4 meters as well. So yeah, we'll buy a second case combine. Sorry, a second New Holland combine, and then we're going to need another 30 grand on top of that for the header for that one. We might be able to get away with just one for now. So I need to connect or collect our header trailer first of all. There we go. In fact, you know what? No, I'm going to keep that set up like that, and we're just going to buy the other combine. We're going to buy a Nova. It's a little bit slower, a little bit smaller tank, but it'll have that 5 meter header. It'll look better with the right setup as well. In which case, I don't need to make my way down to the store at all, because I can bring the whole setup back as is. Although technically, I suppose if I want to, yeah, we can do that separately. So how much do I need? I want to buy one of those. So 32 plus 105. So I need 137. I've got 14 left, so how much can I take out? Is it going to be enough? I don't know if I'm going to have enough, you know. Might have to do a contract to be able to complete the purchase of everything. Yeah, we're just short, look. That's frustrating. And even selling those two trailers, those two trees on their own won't be enough. So let's go sell our eggs. Let's get some cash. A little bit of a bounce there going over the ramp. Let's sell our eggs and see how much money we can get for cashing in on those. There we go, and we have got another full box that we can throw in here as well. There we go. So, where's the best place for us to sell our eggs this morning? Let's have a look. Eggs. Some decent looking prices. Port Southeast is on the increase. That's 3018 and rising. 3224 at Port Northwest. You know what? I'm probably going to regret this, but I'm going to take these to Port Northwest because it's closer and it's currently the highest price. We'll sell the eggs off there. It may well be that Port Southeast will actually improve to a higher price later, but we need the money now rather than later in the day. So let's take these off to that location. We'll have to manually throw them into the cell box because, you know, as you know, we can't force tip onto an area that we don't own. But hopefully they'll bring in a few extra grand, and then maybe 1 or 2 little contracts will give us everything that we need. Maybe even just cutting down those 2 remaining trees will give us everything that we need. So I'll see you when we start selling some eggs. Right. We're going to stand. Actually, we'll drive up. Oof, lost control a little bit there. It's like a couple of the egg boxes managed to sell automatically. That usually seems to happen when they get a little bit jostled. We'll stand here just to the side of the cell box and throw them in. That should do. So, let's see. Partial box there, €10 for it. 483 for that box. That's pretty good. So these full boxes definitely worth a bit more. Oops. It's just a shame we can't, as I say, force tip the trailer to unload the boxes into a sell point. That would certainly speed this whole process up. Looks like a partial box there. Another partial. I hope that's one of the things that gets fixed, is that these partial boxes stop doing that. You know, it's a weird bug. It's the same for pallets of wool, to the best of my understanding, is that you know, every time you reboot your file or you reload your save file, it immediately starts a fresh box of eggs or a fresh pallet of wool, regardless of how much is in the previous one. And obviously that is not what's supposed to happen. So that's why we're getting these weird differences and variances in value. Plus some of these boxes, they never seem to want to sell properly either. See here, look, this one should be selling but isn't. Same with this one. Oh, there we go, that one's sold now. How much are we up to? 128. We're getting close, actually, you know. Oops, just drop that over the side. Wasn't sure if we'd sold it, but no, it missed. It's just as well these are super strong eggs, because otherwise we'd just be smashing them to bits doing this. Again, another one that doesn't want to sell. Yeah, the egg selling mechanic could be better, I think. It's clunky. I mean, it works, but it's clunky. And it's also very time consuming, loading box after box like this. It has been suggested by Barris that I stick them in a shovel, in like a big bucket, you know, on the front of a tractor or something, and just drive down with a load of them like that, and then it should auto sell them all at once, you know, all the boxes that are in the bucket. But the trouble is, the buckets, or the one that we have access to at the moment, isn't that big, and we wouldn't exactly get many boxes in it before. So we'd still have to bring the trailer down, and you know, otherwise it would be a long trip back to the sell point again. This just seems to be the easiest way to do it until they change the way that egg boxes are sold. One last box. And it's one that doesn't want to sell. Lovely. Oh, there we go. It's sold. So, we have 135. That is, I think, what we need, isn't it? 135? Oh, that would be amazing if that's worked out just perfectly like that. Oh, going to be £2 short. Ah, okay, well, we can cut down a tree. Let's buy this Nova, because this is a brand new for Farming Sim 19 combine, so we do want to use it. Oh, wow, 180 horsepower. That's nothing for a combine, is it? Mind you, we've only got 160 on the New Holland. That's what we're more used to seeing, around 300 horsepower. Which means, yeah, I'm not going to be able to afford this, am I? No, look, I'm just short, and I need a trailer as well. So, okay, that's fine. We can cope with that. We've certainly reduced the gap down to what we needed to get quite dramatically. So we'll go and cut down a tree near the sawmill and just throw that in the sawmill. And that will give us the money that we need to be able to buy the other header, and also to be able to get another trailer to transport those back, because we can have one on the front and then one being pulled behind, and then once we've made a little bit more cash while we're waiting for our crops to grow, we can look at getting another header on top of that as well, you know, a second helianthus. So I will see you in just a moment. Alright, this one looks like a good contender here, so I'll try and cut this so it doesn't fall on my tractor. That should do it angle-wise. Ooh, just avoided landing on the New Holland there. So let's get this cleaned off. This is a pretty big tree. Should get quite a bit of cash for this one, I hope. Certainly enough to pay for the header, and hopefully at the very least it will cover the lease costs for a trailer as well, but we should be able to buy a trailer outright, I think. In fact, no, I'll just lease a trailer. So let's clamp down on this. We've seen that selling a whole tree like this is not a very good way to make money compared to cutting it into logs. So we'll just clamp it here. And if we chop it about here, and then chop that one about here, there we go. Now I've got 3 nice pieces of wood to sell. Ooh, bit of a bump. There we go, that's one bit. Sneak our way around the sawdust and the wood chips. Grab log number 2. I might be able to sneak back in this way as well, actually. Might be enough of a gap. Yeah, we can get through that way. There we go. And we can probably just carry the last bit. It's going to be quicker than messing around with the tractor if we can. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Gotta find it now. Can't even see it. It's got to be over here somewhere. There it is. Can we lift this? Yes, we can. Excellent stuff. You can see how secure this is with us running. This would bounced out of our hands at least twice by now. If we were on Farming Sim 17. There we go. So, how much will we get for this tree? 4 grand. Beautiful. That's what we needed. So, we can now buy the power stream header. There we go. And let's lease a header trailer. Just want to lease that. There we go. So we can now go and collect our new combine equipment from the store. We'll just jump our way down there and then drive everything back up. And who knows, by the time we get back up, because it's a slow combine and it's a long drive, our fields may even be ready for us to start the harvest. So I'll catch up with you again in just a moment. Alright, we're almost back at the farm, and look at this thing, it's so dinky, it's awesome, look at it. It's like someone, it's like a baby combine, it's like someone drove a combine into a wall and it got squashed up. It's so tiny, I love it, it's brilliant. And as you can see, our crops have grown, oh, there goes another sign. Our crops have grown, so we can put this into immediate effect. It's so small, it doesn't even have an unfold flap at the top, look, it's just there. So let's go into our crop growth and turn that off while we do our combining. This little thing, oh, it's so dinky. This thing is just, it looks fantastic. Oh, I absolutely love this thing. It's like someone has almost scratch built a combine on a milk float or something. That short wheelbase just looks, it just looks wrong. It looks so misproportioned, but I love the look of it. So we'll get this area started, and then we'll bring the New Holland over to this side of the field, and we can hook straight up to the Helianthus and get that started on that field. We'll convert one of our trailers over to grain, and then we can unload a combine on this field while the other combine is working away on the other field, and that can be unloaded as well. So yeah, it'll all work out quite nicely for us. I just want to try and get this edge done. I still can't get over how dinky this thing looks. It looks more like a, more like a toy than an actual combine. I was so used to seeing large combines. Even the small ones have always had these really long bodies. This thing is just so compact. That's what makes it look so weird and so different. I mean, just look how short that wheelbase is. It's tiny. Yeah, I might have to get rid of the New Holland and get another Nova, because that thing just looks fantastic. And you compare it to this. I mean, look at the size of this thing. That huge long back bit there. That's what I mean about, it just looks so different. Oh, the roar of this engine is just so sort of old and sounds like an old bus or a coach or something. We'll get this started straight away with the Helianthus harvesting away on these sunflowers. That should be nice and quick. And then we'll need to get the trailers over here as well so we can get our stuff unloaded. Keep these combines running. And then between the two of them, they can potentially, potentially by the time we get this field done, we'll have finished on that field there, on field 3. But you never know. We'll be running slightly wider than 5 meters, 5.7, and running 50% faster as well, at 9 miles an hour instead of 6. So it's possible that they may get done around the same kind of time. Let's just move the trailer out of the way. There we go. There's another sign. Yeah, what were they thinking? Putting road signs at the side of the road? I mean, come on, it's a stupid place to put them. Of all the places they could have put those signs, really, honestly. It's just poor planning from the council there. Ah, look at that. Look how fast we're chomping through this field now. That's brilliant. Whizzing along with our Helianthus header there. So we're back in a position where we are very, very heavily, well, we're always very heavily in debt, but very, very, very heavily in debt again now. But we've got 2 combines. We can get through our combining a lot quicker because we can work multiple fields now. Or, you know, we can work 2 combines on the same field and just turn a field over a lot quicker. Which means our whole crop process is going to speed up, and that means more money. So a big expense, but I think a necessary expense. We're running out of shed space as well. We might have to look at building a new shed somewhere to store our equipment, because we are, as I say, running out of bays. That will build a little area somewhere for us to store pallets and stuff. Maybe build one of the little garage extensions. So now we've hitched a ride back here, let's sort these trailers out. We'll configure this one to a full grain trailer, seeing as we've got no eggs to stack for a while. And it's going to take longer for the eggs to respawn anyway, because we still don't have 100 chickens yet. They're still breeding away. So there's no immediate rush for this to be back in full capacity, or back in 4,000 litre setup like that. So we'll bump that back to 12, put the cover back on it. Hell, we could even do the same with the other one as well. In fact, yeah, let's do it with the other trailer as well. Let's get that one configured for grain too. And then we've got 21,000 litres with one trailer, 24 with the other. And that'll enable us to get everything harvested nice and quickly and comfortably. Let's just swing around, get that second trailer in front of the repair bay. There we go. And customise that one. There we go. Helper J. Which one is Helper J? Oh, that's our Nova. Oh, look at that. You can see the difference straight away, look. Our Nova is actually flashing. The icon for Helper J is flashing to indicate that he's running out of space. Never really noticed that before. I don't know if that's a new feature. I'm guessing it must be. There we go. So we'll drop those 2 trailers there. And then we can go back and grab the other one in just a moment. Before I do that, I need to jump into the Nova so we can make sure it gets emptied. I want to see this pipe in action as well. It's called a high angle pipe. Good clearance. Very good clearance. These 12,000 litre setups are quite tall and easily, comfortably reaching in that. I really love this. It's a micro combine. I love it. That's so cool. Oh, and there's the fill warning on the other combine. Not surprised that one's filling up quickly. That is bombing along at speed there. So we can get the Nova back on. It's really sharp on the turning as well, this thing. We can get the Nova back on the canola. Let's go grab the other trailer. We'll take this header trailer with us. Actually, no, we can just return that. That's leased. We don't need that anymore. So we'll just return it from the menu. Let's go grab the other trailer quickly. And then we can drive alongside the New Holland and empty that as it's running. I tell you, that Nova's put me in such a happy mood. I love that little Nova. And the practicality of things suggests that I should have got a second New Holland, because it's got a bigger tank and can drive at an extra 3 miles an hour, you know, when it's not harvesting. And just bought a Nova header. But yeah, I'm so glad I bought that Nova, because it just looks brilliant. It's put a huge smile on my face. Sometimes small equipment can be cool equipment, and that is very much the case with that little Nova there. There we go. So we'll get this combine restarted. Let's take a little bit out. That should do. Let it get started again. And then shadow it along to the end of the run. Look how fast this thing runs as well. 9 miles an hour. There we go. Beautiful stuff. How's that for proper synchronized combining? I know we had synchronized combining as the title for a different episode a little while ago when we were trying to balance a contract and our own harvest at the same time, but this is more like proper synchronized combining when we have two of our own combines on the run at the same time. Right, I'll catch up with you in a little while. This little combine is just the greatest thing ever. It's so much fun to use. Our New Holland has been absolutely storming through the field, although I think I've accidentally blocked it a little bit with the position of the trailer. So I'll have to get that going again, because he's actually still charging us at the moment. Yeah, for some reason he didn't want to turn. I'm guessing he was trying to back up and the header was being blocked by the trailer. But he's been absolutely chewing through that field there. Something fierce. There we go. Get him restarted. Just whizzing through this crop of sunflower here. I think sunflowers could be the way for us to go. I can't wait to see this thing hooked up to a helianthus, just ripping through a field at speed. But I'm loving this little combine. It's really nice inside as well. Really sort of efficiently using the space. Tiny little grain window there as well. Everything's just micro in this thing. But like I said, I'm just having so much fun using this thing that I absolutely do not care that it's so small and has a smaller tank than the New Holland. I am seriously considering getting rid of the New Holland and replacing it with another one of these Novas. It's going to be a while before I can afford to do that, but yeah, giving it some serious consideration. Oh, still got a partial row there from the last time I emptied it. I forgot about that. Yeah, see how quickly we're getting a pass done with this big old helianthus header here. really allowing that thing to just unleash itself. But as I say, I keep saying the same thing over and over again. But I'm absolutely loving our new little Nova. This is such a fun little thing to use. Let's get that strip there. There we go. It looks just brilliant inside the cab. That 5-meter header just looks perfectly proportioned, despite the fact that it's a meter wider than the header that we would use on the New Holland. It still looks small, even though it's actually bigger. These things just feel so nippy. And because it's so small, it feels faster than it is as well. It's that relative size thing. You know, the smaller something is, the faster it feels compared to when you're in something that's big and lumbering. It feels quite big and can plod along, even though it might be actually moving faster or working faster. You don't feel it because it's big. It doesn't seem to cover the distance the same way. Visually it just looks slower, even if it isn't. Yeah, this thing though, I mean, just watch how it takes off down here with our Helianthus header. Just getting through a field so quickly. Yeah, much as I enjoyed using this New Holland, my heart right now is screaming over the top of my head to get rid of it and get another Nova. I can't afford to, but so it's a moot point. But my heart is screaming, get rid of the New Holland, get a second Nova. Two of these running in tandem would just look fantastic. So halfway through the field, about, I think, where the trees were, and we've just filled up our first trailer load, 21,000 litres of sunflower. Let's get that stashed away in here, and just say that I had a full tank as well. Just saw that notification pop up. Yeah, the Rostel mashers fill up. That's the only downside to the Nova, is that the tank is only 4,500 litres. It does fill up a bit quickly. Well, can you imagine how fast it would fill up on this field here? Running a 5.7 meter Helianthus, it would just fill up instantly. So we need to go and tag that. Let's leave that trailer there. Done a lot of canola already as well. The first of these two trailers is already full. Second trailer's partially full. So we're already looking at about 30,000 litres, I think. Well, not 30,000 litres. Over 24,000 litres. Over 25,000 litres of canola, I think. Oh, no, wait. No, these hold 12,000 litres, not 24. I'm getting confused. So 13, nearly 13,500 litres of canola. That's not too bad, considering this is just a single small field. And we got, what was it, 45,000 litres on field 1 and 2 combined before we cloud them together. Around 45,000, 50,000 litres. Somewhere in that bracket. So for a single field here, I think 20,000 litres plus is a good return. And I think we're probably safe to easily pass 20,000 litres. We're up to 17 already, look. There we go. Has the worker stopped? Has he disappeared? No, he's just a little bit too close to him. So 17, nearly 18,000 litres of canola so far. Yeah, we're on for a good little haul, I think, off this field. So let's get back in the Nova and carry on harvesting. Well, there we go. Our Nova has successfully cleared away this field here, and it looks as though we're going to end up with just under 24,000 litres. Very nice. So let's get this moved over to our soybean field just over there and start harvesting away on that as well. So we're going to cut into this field here at a bit of an angle like this, just so that it makes it easier on our AI worker. It's a less sharp of an angle to come back onto, so there shouldn't be any issues with him suddenly running out of crop to harvest. He won't move too far away as he turns around to trigger the next pass. At least in theory, anyway. That generally seems to be the way it works. Of course, we could do it from the other side of the field and start there, and then work our way across that way. But the AI traditionally, or at least I haven't tested it on 19, maybe we should. The AI generally used to, on 17, leave these triangles, because he would start at a different point on the field. So maybe we should test that out. Maybe we should actually start him at the opposite end of the field this time. And see how he does, at least with that first bit there, and we can always then switch back over to this side of the field and work that way if necessary. Let's just get this little piece taken out first of all. There we go. Not too far off getting our sunflowers finished as well. Still a little bit of the field to go, as you can see. Our New Holland is busy munching away through those at the moment, and would have made a nice little bit of an impact on this field by the time he's finished over there. Not a particularly big field, this. Certainly not in comparison to the other sized field, but enough. There's enough here to, to warrant some action. You can see there is the warning, helper nearly full, so let's get the worker started. Oh, very bouncy over that little bit of uneven ground there. See our poor little combine really getting thrown about a bit. Let's start the worker here, and we'll come back and check on him in a moment. We need to get the case back alongside. So don't forget, we've got 21,000 litres of sunflowers in the trailer already. Sorry, in the silo already. Another 10,000 litres in here, plus whatever's in the combine. Combined together, that's going to give us an extra 6,000-ish litres. Maybe more. Maybe 7,000 litres by the time we get to the end of this row. On top of what's in the trailer. So that'll be around 17,000, 18,000 litres that we'll have, plus whatever's going to be left on the field. That's a really good haul of sunflower, and we saw how high the price went last time we were looking at prices, which is the whole reason we ended up going into getting sunflowers. We could be able to make a lot of money with this particular crop, a very large amount of money indeed. Quick look at the prices right now. We have nothing spectacular, a 14.48 at the train station mill, but we do have three separate prices on the increase right now. So that is encouraging. Who knows, maybe by the end of the day those prices will have stabilised at something very high indeed, and we can get an instant turnaround on the value of our sunflower crop here. 17,000 litres, that's pretty good. So we'll tip this, because there's only 4,000 litres of space left, and then just keep track of that trailer. We also need to empty out the canola into the silo and run those trailers over to the soybean field. Luckily, soybean being a lower yield Means we have a little bit of time to play about with before we need to get there. But we can't leave it too long. I think we might possibly have to draft in the New Holland for this one. Let's see how we do. But yeah, we are going to need to, just because it's too far a distance for the case to keep back and forthing. So we'll drop the weight. And the engine started. We'll drop off the front loader just here. There we go. Let's go get those trailers and get those unloaded into the silo as well. So we need to unload the Nova, and it does actually look as though the AI has been improved for field edges. You can see there's a little patch just over the far corner there, but apart from that, it does look as though he's done a very clean job. There's no obvious signs of big triangular patches that have been missed. So that is a huge step forward if that is the case. The AI was terrible at doing field edges, going in the sort of the direction that this one's going before. So if they have really tweaked that and improved that, which does appear to be the case, then that's great. It's great to see that. I forget who it was who pointed that out in the comments. It was quite recent, but I do want to say thank you for putting me onto that suggestion, because I've always just subconsciously worked the fields from longest pass to shortest pass when going across an angle field like that because of the bad AI. But look at that. That is that's so much better. There's just a tiny little tuft somewhere that's hidden on that corner, and we'll tag that at the end. I'm sure there might be another tiny little tuft somewhere as well. But yeah, big improvement in the AI there. Very, very impressed with that. So let's get the other combine unloaded. And something else I've noticed as well is that the combines don't just come to an immediate stop when they're full. They start slowing down and give you a chance to perhaps get that a little bit closer before it suddenly stops. It also represents that the drivers themselves are being very careful not to go into the crop and waste it. So that's a nice little addition I've noticed as well, is that combines really do slow down quite dramatically before they stop and run for a few seconds at a much slower speed, as they're almost like when you're at the petrol pump and you're filling your car and you'll be finger full on the trigger, and then you start getting close to how much you want to put in, and you start easing off on the trigger on the nozzle, and you start putting little squirts in to get to your target. It's the same kind of thing. These guys do that now as well. They slow down, and then they just do these little jerky tiny movements at the very end, just to make sure that they don't waste crop and they don't go too far, or they have that sudden instant deceleration. It's little subtle touches that really do make a difference. So I'm going to start carrying on the soybean harvest with the little Nova over here now. So catch up with you in a bit. Well, there we go. We've finished our sunflower harvest. What is our final total going to be, I wonder? Just quickly unload the combine into the trailer. There's no point kitting this out with the other header and sending it off. I think we'll kind of just keep this setup for now. Get the Nova doing crops, grain crops, and have this set up as our sunflower harvester. It seems to be a really good combination. The extra tank size really helps with the increased operating speed, and the wider header. So that seems at the moment to be just like the perfect thing for turning over sunflowers on this field, and then keep running other crops, like canola, like soybean, etc., on our other fields. And that way we can bring in some really good value money crops. So we've got 13 thousand here. Let's see, our final total for sunflowers is, drum roll please, over 50,000, 51,454 litres. That's pretty good. And you can see we've got a couple more prices. One of them stopped now. Port Northwest seems to have stopped at $12.99, which is pretty poor, but Grain Elevator East and the Grain Mill are both still climbing. They're in the 1300s now. We'll see where they end up. There's our Nova. I squared off the rest of that edge, as you can see. There's no front wheels on my New Holland over there. It's missing its front wheels. They haven't loaded in for whatever reason. I'm sure they'll appear in a second as we get a little bit closer. Still waiting for those front wheels. There they are. There's my front wheels. Wondering if maybe the kids had come along and put it up on bricks for a second then. So not too much left to harvest over here for our soybeans. Certainly not going to get anywhere near the kind of yield that we've seen on the other crops. We've only got a few thousand litres in the combine and what, 8.5 in the trailer. So I think we'll be lucky to sort of hit 15,000 on this field. Man, that's not too bad, is it? 15,000 litres. It could be better. Obviously, we're used to 40,000 litres a harvest, but that's on fields 1 and 2. We would get more if we planted on that field now, especially with that extra strip. But what are we looking at price-wise for this? We've got 1674 and climbing at Train Station Mill, 1497 and climbing at the Grain Mill. Port Southeast is a long way off, so we've potentially got a really good price for those as well. Let's look at our canola prices. 1174 and 1040 rising. Yeah, again, we can get much better than that. So we've got some potential for quick sales. We might have to hang on to some stuff for a little while, but everything seems to be looking reasonably good so far for us. So let's get this field finished as well. And so our day's harvest comes to an end with this final little bit of soybean left on this field. I have absolutely loved driving around in this Nova. It's an expensive purchase in the scheme of, we don't have a lot of money, but it's been worth it. It's been so worth it. It's been so much fun to drive this thing. And just the ability to have 2 combines running is really going to speed things around on our farm. I mean, look how quickly we've been able to get 3 good-sized fields harvested today. There's no way we could have done this, and it's all been done at ×5 as well. There's no way we could have done this without this extra combine. It just would have taken way too long to get stuff done. So it's picked up a lot of dirt, look. Very muddy. But it's performed absolutely fantastically. Admirably, I would say admirably. Very wonderful little, stocky little combine. Very squat. But so much fun to use. So yeah, despite the fact that it cost us, including the header, 137 grand, it's been worth it, I think. And the amount of time it's going to save us, as I say, for future harvests, being able to knock out multiple fields in one go, or just get through a single field much quicker, that's invaluable. That's going to save us so much time. So very, very pleased to have made the purchase. I just wish we weren't so broke. Hopefully the crops that we have harvested today will come very good for us financially very soon, and we'll be able to recoup a good chunk of that money quite quickly. I don't know if we'll get some today. Let's still need to get rid of that header trailer, don't I? Let's straight line it back to the yard across the fields. Let's have a look at prices. So starting with canola, 1203. That's not bad, but it needs to be higher than that. Sunflowers, topped at 1365 at the grain mill. Let's see what's still going up at the elevator east. We'll see what that ends up at. Soybean 15.99 and rising. So the grain mill looking potentially very, very lucrative for us just there, if that keeps going up. We don't have... Oh, look at that. We never sold our soybean last time. We still got 40,000. Oh, that is just fantastic. We have got 40,000 litres in stock already, combined with what we've just harvested. I completely forgot all about that soybean. Oh, that's perked me up again. I've got another big smile on my face now. I've got one from driving this thing. Just look at it. It's brilliant. One from driving our Nova, and then another one from just realising that I had a spare 40,000 litres of soybean knocking around that I'd completely forgotten about. Oh, wow. What a great day it's been. What a fantastic day. So I'll keep an eye on the prices. If we get something really good before we close the farm down tonight, then I'll do some selling tonight. But it looks as though we might be doing some selling first thing tomorrow before we start turning these fields over and getting them reworked and reseeded. I'm going to put sunflowers down again, so while we're kind of waiting for stuff to stabilize, can I make that turn? Wow, it's tight, but yes. I'm going to run the cultivator over fields 1 and 2. I'm just going to call it field 1 from now on, I think, because it is just one field. I'm going to cultivate this field out, and we'll get ready to put some sunflower back on this field again. Hopefully the seeder won't skip like it did last time, but I get the feeling it's probably going to. So I'll have to watch out for that as well. That will probably get planted in the morning, but at the very least I can get this field cleaned off so it's ready. We don't have to worry about cleaning off the other fields because the other seeder is a direct drill seeder, so no issues there. So what have we got here? 18,500 litres. Oh, that's beautiful. So we've got 58,500 litres of soybean to sell now. That is very nice. Very nice indeed. And we can actually haul these two trailers and our other trailer all in one go. It's going to be a bit tricky. You have to be very careful when we're going down a hill that gravity doesn't drive us off the side of a cliff. But we could transport, quite a bit in one go. And here you can see the lack of power from our T6 now that it is in desperate need of maintenance, making us really struggle up that hill. Let's see how long it takes us to get up to speed on this bit of ground here. That's pretty slow acceleration, isn't it? We've got a little bit of a down drive now. A little bit of a downward gradient. But even so, it took us a while to get back up to 32 miles an hour there. So, let's get cruise control back up to 32. There we go. And let's get rid of the trailer that I forgot to get rid of earlier. There we go. A really, really nice amount of cash ready and waiting for us as soon as that market gives us a great price. So we're not quite as bad off financially as I thought we were. We've actually got a lot of a very, very good value crop here, and I can't wait for the markets to open up at the right price for us. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with some more Felsbrunn Farm very soon.